Alrighty, we're at it again with a deck that we built. I'm very excited about this deck that we built because it's unique. It's not the best deck in the format by any means, but I started off playing Dwarven Treasure in Standard 2020 ranked because obviously we all wanted to see what 2020 would be like, and I was intrigued by Magda, Brazen Outlaw, and all of the sneaky dwarves that actually come along with it. Some 2-drop lifelink dwarves that become 3/2, a 3/2 haster that becomes a 4/2, and all of a sudden when you populate with all these dwarves, you start to actually build up a lot of treasures. You back that up with a Goldspan Dragon and does some impressive things. So I tried it in Standard, especially realizing that in the Standard proper, there's a 1-drop dwarf that becomes a 2/3 1-drop that people don't want to attack into and they don't want to block, triggering Magda all day long and benefiting from her Lord effect. And of course, the best thing that this deck gets when you go into Standard proper is the ability to abuse Magda's triggered ability to sacrifice five treasures, which absolutely does happen when you have Goldspan Dragon. I'm probably mulliganing this hand because we just aren't fast enough. This deck is basically a mid-range deck that drifts towards aggro. Here's that 1-drop that I talked about. It's not much at all on its own, but when you add to it the fact that Magda is buffing it and that my dwarves, that you want a decent amount of dwarves on board, the Staunch Shieldmate does a pretty decent amount, and it has flavorful text given the great Dungeons and Dragons set. Of course, great in flavor. Dungeons and Dragons set, gilded with the gold from a dragon's trove it is, and etched with the image of the dragon I slew to take it. Certainly very dwarven. So we got it. It plays like an aggro deck. We don't need to draw Magda. We just need to curve out. And this card, Dwarven Reinforcements, actually looks horrible, and I almost didn't include it, but it's a great curve filler. Right now we don't have a 2-drop, foretelling it's going to be our 2-drop, and then it's going to be our 4-drop. It's not going to be necessary to do any of that because we drew Magda, and we're just gonna play this out here because the cool thing about it is now he becomes a 2/3. I'm gonna attack. That's gonna unlock Frostbite, and they may not even want to block as a result of it. Since this deck is so unseen to people haven't seen this deck be running. They make mistakes like block, a very savvy no block by Victorinian here. Speaker of the Heavens are playing out their jive, and rightfully so. I'm going to use the Frostbite if I have to. You may have wondered why I didn't blow it on the All Seed right afterwards, and I definitely am thinking about pointing it at the All Seed for sure. But that treasure is a ramp. We just ramped 1. We're about to untap on turn 3 and play a 4-drop. That's what's about to happen here because of Magda. And when we attack with these two, we're going to ramp ourselves 2 even more to an adult gold dragon that I really like, and have a mana up from Frostbite still after all of this. So if they're smart, they'll double block on Magda, but at this point Magda did Magda did all of her damage. Look at that. Look at what Magda did. And this illustrates, you see all these dwarves that have the ability to be in play and attack while Magda Brazen Outlaw is out. Already here you saw me swing twice, right? In a very unassuming start. I've got 3 treasures which could become ramp, or they could just become something to pump the heck out of Magda. And I think right now what we're actually going to do, since they aren't really worried about Magda, we're just going to get more dwarves down. And our next attack is going to represent a triggering of Magda's hidden ability that sack 5 treasures and go tutor up a dragon or artifact. Nobody sees this coming. And with this deck, it is extremely reasonable and extremely possible to be able to pull it off. It just is. And we can even, look, we can attack with 4 dwarves right now, have 6 treasures, which means that we can play the adult gold dragon. And now that we can play the adult adult gold dragon and swing in with 4 dwarves, we are going to have the ability to be able to tutor up any from our entire deck, a dragon or an artifact. If that adult gold dragon gets unblocked like it looks like it's going to, then what are we going to tutor up except for Embercleave? Why would we tutor anything else up? If I were to bet, I would say they're holding up an activation and didn't realize what was going on here. But look, we get all these Magda triggers. Not insignificant dwarves doing the triggering, by the way. Those are 3/1 tokens that we created by a 4-mana spell. Now, yeah, they're going to gain life, and yeah, they're going to protect things with All Seed, but they are not expecting what's coming, because nobody does, and it's part of the benefit of this deck. Nobody expects the out of nowhere, oh my goodness, I'm getting hit for 1 million because I didn't know you could tutor up Embercleave. I didn't know that's something you could do in this standard. I didn't know Magda Brazen Outlaw had that capability in any realistic sense, and she absolutely does. Notice they didn't even care enough to block Magda. No respect. No respect. And they're not getting out of this. They're just not. They're not getting out of it. They get attacked for all they're worth, but they're not getting out of it. And there you have it. So, feeling good about what we've put together here in this deck. I hope you like it. I hope you have some fun with it, because again, I've played probably 100 matches between best of 1 and best of 3, and I have not faced the mirror yet. Nobody has any dwarves going except for the occasional Magda being put into that green shell that taps her incidentally to make mana, which is of course an impressive use of her ability. But this deck, combined with all of the dwarves that actually have very useful uses against aggro mirrors and great ability to be able to get underneath those really, really big decks, this deck enables you to be able to also win combo style, and nobody's expecting it because nobody's seen it done. Hope you enjoyed it. Temple Scribe Bottom. If you did enjoy it, we'll put out a few more gameplay matches.